Welcome to another edition of Clarity Jams, where I, your host, Jessica Malnik, dive into, diagnose, and fix messaging and go-to-market problems for founders and marketing leaders. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Garrett, a fractional CMO who helps early-stage B2B companies scale, but his own website is struggling to clearly communicate his value. We're going to tear it apart, tighten it up, and turn it into a conversion machine. So let's dive in.
Hi, I'm Garrett Jestice. I am the founder of Prelude. So thanks for having me, Jessica.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on to Clarity Jams, Garrett. So if you don't mind, for people who are just tuning in, tell me a little bit more what Prelude does and maybe who your customers are.
Yeah, great question. So my background is as a CMO for early stage B2B software companies. I kind of fell into the consulting world about 2.5 years ago. And so I focus on a lot of the core foundations for early stage companies, B2B companies. And so I work with a mix of software companies and agencies that are looking to launch or scale their marketing efforts. And so I help them go through a process to kind of figure out who are their best customers, what do you say to them from a messaging and positioning standpoint, which channels do you prioritize and focus on? And so that's a little bit about me and my business.
Awesome. I love it. And I get to go, I always love working with somebody else who does something pretty similar to me. So I know for this particular Clarity Jam, we're going to dive into your homepage. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up, which is technically you showing your screen. But the first thing I kind of see here is your navigation menu. Wall of Love, what we do, pricing, newsletter, book a call. I love the fact that book a call is in green. Your eye naturally goes to it, and you can pretty much tell, I'm assuming that this is the option you want any sort of person on this page to look at, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Second, do all of your ideal buyers know what a wall of love is?
Probably not.
That might be something that you might want to tweak and maybe make it be case studies, customer success stories, or testimonials. Maybe decide between whichever one makes the most sense for your brand. I know wall of love is something I use all the time as well, but I don't think it's as common as many else do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. The next thing, and this is where I'm really going to dive into it, is your H1 is most go-to-market strategy is guesswork. We fix it with insight from your best customers. We help founder-led B2B startups and agencies build a go-to-market strategy based on real customer research, not assumptions, so you know exactly who to target, what to say, and how to grow. Love that second line. That tells me exactly who you're targeting to. Your H1 though, particularly when you add in kind of the green subtext before, can you tell me a little bit more about kind of how you came about that line?
Yeah. So you and I talked about this a little bit before we jumped on here, but I kind of feel like my page today is a work in progress, right? I'm going through a process of, I think everyone probably always feels like that, but I'm going through a process of slightly revamping my offers and what that looks like. And so I kind of threw this together the other day, a quick update. My website doesn't get a ton of traffic today. I wasn't super worried about, hurting rankings or anything like that. So I decided to just go live with a lot of stuff. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff still in the works, but going back to your direct question, that H1, the whole idea is I help companies with go-to-market strategy. And one of the things that makes my approach unique compared to others out there is it's all based on customer research. So it starts with helping them identify which customers should we talk to, which ones are their best ones, and then we go do some interviews, and that informs everything else that we do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wonder if you could just make it, you said it yourself, like insights of customer research. Is there a way to make that H1 just that much tighter so that it doesn't bleed into 2 lines? That's
a great point. I'll keep working on it for sure.
Awesome. And if you want to scroll down, I kind of see the beginning of some social proof, which I love to see. If you click on those 4 or those 5 logos, do they go to case studies or is it just kind of proof?
They don't. They're just a scroll.
Awesome. Do you happen to have any case studies?
I'm working on a couple right now. I have a bunch of testimonials, but not case studies yet.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, this works fine. However, if you happen to have some really strong testimonials, you might want to look at maybe putting them slightly above the fold. In my experience, that can convert pretty well.
Awesome.
And scroll down to where you say the problem. Oh, I like it. I'm guessing this is going to be problem, solution, results.
Problem, solution, then kind of an overview of what my process looks like.
Got it. Any reason why it's not problem, solution, and results, and then maybe putting your process right after that?
Yeah, it's a good thought for sure.
Awesome. So a couple of things that I see is there is a lot of text and what looks like a stock image. The immediate thing I see, and I might not be your target customer, but so take this with a grain of salt. But whenever I see a stock photo on a agency or a fractional CMO's page, I automatically think, okay, this is kind of a commodity. So maybe get rid of that stock image. or add a photo of yourself, add some testimonials, pretty much anything outside of that. And also, there's a lot of text there, and most B2B startups stall before they scale. Makes sense, but I feel like this entire section could be tighter in what is that core problem that you immediately solve? And if it is through customer research and insights, specify that and get way tighter.
Yeah. That's really good points. I totally agree.
What are you kind of thinking from that?
That there's more work to do on it. Right? Like I said, I kind of put it up here the other day, work in progress. And so I think that your points you're making are really great. So as I go back and continue finalizing it, I think you're absolutely right. Got to continue refining it.
Yeah. I see what you have here, which is it's a clarity problem and clarity sorts of insights from your best customers. What do you think about that? Feels like the most interesting line of everything that you say. Candidly, I also agree. So I could be a little bit biased here, but maybe making that be what you lead with within the H2.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Awesome. And if we want to scroll down, okay, well, now I see our solution, go-to-market strategy powered by your customers, GTM strategy powered by your customers. Is this supposed to be your process?
This is a high-level overview of kind of what my larger signature process looks like. Yeah.
What does your full process look like?
So down below, it gets into a little bit more detail in each of these sections. It kind of starts breaking it down.
Okay,
This
so this is where
the overview.
Okay, and then can you maybe walk me through what your actual process looks like?
Yep. And so it's pretty clear here, but we go through a process of identifying their ideal customer profile and personas, and then jump into customer research, interviews with them, use that to inform messaging and positioning and channel strategy, which marketing channels they should focus on. And that's usually where a lot of my engagements end. Sometimes I'll continue with ongoing advisory support for like the execution. So that's kind of this last piece here.
Awesome. And if you want to scroll back up to the overview, all of what you showed here, it might be a little bit long, which I'm kind of noticing a theme here. You seem to be very verbose. However, that all is great. This section right here makes you look like every other consultant or fractional CMO out there. Like it just feels, even the icons, the imagery, the text, to be blunt, but maybe nice as well, feels like a commodity.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good.
I like the fact that you go into so much detail, but have you thought about what it would look like if you just put each of those steps in that process directly in the section? So it's for a very busy founder, which I'm guessing is most of your audience, a very busy founder isn't going to maybe want to read the entire homepage. So what would it look like if you just listed out each of those 5 stages that you mentioned directly here with something that is not just a boring icon, but just something that just immediately captures their attention with one paragraph or even just one or 2 bullet points, so they can immediately see it and think, okay, this is Garrett's process and this is why I need it.
That makes sense. That's good.
What are you kind of thinking from that? Not to put you on the spot.
I don't know yet. I think that there needs to be a little bit more pushing on it though. I agree with your assessment there.
And if I can be blunt, you say no generic frameworks, but this looks like a generic framework, even though I know it's not if you scroll down.
Yeah, good point. It's good.
I like the fact that I'm guessing these are actually screenshots of your process.
Yep.
Awesome. Keep doing that. Scroll down. Again, another stock photo. I think that screenshot is so much more compelling because it just kind of showcases your actual work and not just a stock image. Again, stock images scream generic fractional CMO. And I know from your background and your experience and your pricing that you're really, really experienced. So making yourself look like a commodity probably is doing you a disservice.
Yeah, true. That's a good point.
Same with this section. That makes a ton of sense. I like the fact that you have screenshots. Keep that up. Scroll down. Again, with this section, again, love the screenshots. Now I just got to ask, why the stock imagery? You clearly have the screenshots.
For some of these, yeah. Some others I haven't, right? And so I'll build it out over time.
Can I dig into that a little bit more? And you don't have to answer this. Like, why are you defaulting the stock?
Because it's what I have. It's better than nothing, I think. So like, for example, here, there's not a lot of output that I can really easily show on this. This is an overview of kind of what some of the questions look like, right, for research. But some of these other ones have more outputs that I can show at this stage. So
I love it. Maybe, have you thought about potentially just I know this is a little bit more work, but have you thought about recording a Loom or a YouTube video that just kind of walks through your process?
I think it's a great idea. I definitely have. It's on my backlog to do.
Totally, I get it. Cobbler shoes problem. It's hard. It's hard enough to focus on our own websites when we're doing client work, right? But that could be just an easy way to kind of build up more authenticity, more trust, more proof without having to resort to stock photos that make you a commodity.
Yeah, makes sense. It's good.
Awesome. Next, I won't go into more of the detail. That looks great. That all looks great as well. Okay, cool. The next section. Love the fact that some of these have imagery that maybe have a video as well, and some do not. Why do only some of these have an image / video and some of them don't?
So they all have images, right? But some of them have video, some of them don't.
Yeah, so okay, can you maybe scroll to one of the ones that has the video?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I love it. The video makes a lot of sense. It just kind of looks kind of weird from a design perspective. And two, what would it look like if you just use the testimonials that had video or just had the ones that didn't? And then honestly, having the video gives you, it just makes it that much more valid because it's an actual proof and there's like zero doubt that it's like a made up testimony.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's fewer of those ones with videos, right? And so I think some of the higher quality ones are just written at this point, but I like the idea for sure.
How many video testimonials do you have?
I think 2.
Got it. Have you thought about just using those 2 and maybe leading with one of them almost directly after, right after the social logo, and then having another one be right above where you say book a call, kind of down to the page, and then have everything else be the same testimonies you have, which are great. That could just be a way to just kind of further prove, hey, you know your stuff. You have a lot of expertise, and also just makes the design more balanced as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it.
And then when you click on see more testimonials, where does that go?
That goes to that wall of love page that we were talking about before.
Got it. I love it. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Okay, and now the next section. Cool. Love the bio. That makes plenty of sense as well. Yeah. Love the promise. Fix your go-to-market your GTM strategy in 8 weeks before you waste time and budget on execution. Subtle thing. That works. It's a little long, but it works. I like the bold promise of 8 weeks. You kind of go into your 2 core offerings. One thing that in my experience works well, and I suspect you know this as well, is there any way you can either lead with 1 or you do 3? Kind of that rule of 3 on pricing. Also, because my eye naturally goes towards ongoing GTM advising, which is way less than your full system. So that could be confusing people.
Can you explain that a little bit more? I just want to make sure I fully understand.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that it sounds like your whole system is $18,000. However, because you have 2 right there, instead of 3 or instead of just 1, my eye naturally goes towards the advisory piece, which is way less money. And also, I suspect is not what you want. You want people to go into the system. So I wonder if just making it be your system be the only thing, or having 3 packages and just having your advisory piece be kind of below it as like an add-on would make it clear what you actually do.
Yeah, that's a good point. There are some times where people just do the advisory with me and don't do the other stuff, but I agree, I could make it a little bit more clear here. And ideally, I would like someone to start with my full system, right? So
I would, in that case, lead with your full system.
Yeah,
you cannot, it doesn't mean, just because you have it does not mean you have to lead with the advisory. You can still sell it.
Yeah, good point.
The other point is that is a lot of bullet points, and it's a lot of features or services and not enough about benefits. What are the actual outcomes? You kind of talk a lot about 5+ interviews, finalized ICPs and buyer personas, messaging architecture, homepage and sales deck copy, all of that stuff. But what's the actual benefit?
Yeah, good question. There, a lot of them are up above, but so here I tried to summarize because I've had a couple people ask, well, what do I actually get with this, right? And this is kind of the summary of what do I actually get here.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, but you're walking a razor thin line between selling a system and selling a bunch of deliverables that make you a commodity.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anything else that you want to add there?
No, I don't think so. Nice, good points.
Cool. And down below, start building your plan. Awesome. Cool. That makes a ton of sense. What do you need help with? What does that go to? Is there a drop down for that?
There's not. It's open text.
Okay. Awesome. And then how did you hear about us? Is that also open text?
It is. Yeah.
Smart call. So you can kind of track for your own marketing. That all makes sense. Scroll down. Cool. I know this is Substack, but that looks really, is there a way to combine this so it's not just like a wall of text?
Unfortunately, I don't think so with the Substack embed. So there's probably something I could do. I could look into it. Maybe I think I could probably trim it to just a button.
Cool. I mean, if anything, yeah, I would say a button is better than nothing at all. But it just feels like, hey, if you're trying to get people, I'm assuming Your first call to action is book a call. Second is if they're not doing that, get on your newsletter. Love it. It just feels like a little bit of a miss right there. Outside of that, I feel like that's everything on this phone page. Is there any thoughts or insights or questions you have?
I don't think so. I think this is all really good feedback. So I appreciate you going through and kind of sharing it. Because again, like I said, it's constantly a work in progress. And I know any consultant knows it's hard to spend time on their own website, right? And so I appreciate the tangible feedback because it's going to help me as next time I go through it to revamp it.
Absolutely. Happy to do that. And I totally get it. Cobble issues, problems, it's a real thing. Do you have like any sort of kind of systems or habits or time blocks that you kind of set aside for your own marketing to make sure that you can focus and implement this sort of thing?
Yes, some I block out every Friday to work on my business, and some of that time is spent on marketing, but not as specific as like just the website.
Yeah, that might maybe, I mean, you don't need to use your website every single time. Don't update your website every week. That might be overkill, but maybe, once a month or once every 2 months, doing that could be a way to tighten it up.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Awesome. It's been amazing chatting with you. Is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap?
I don't think so. This has been great. Thanks, Jessica.
Awesome. Thank you.